Hey, 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 Ramon, I sent you an email. Um, Welcome. I sent you an email today. Let's see, what was I wanted to show you? This was if you're still here, Ramon, this was what my original channel name was. That's what the email address is coming from. So, anyways, I'm going to get started here. We're doing Painting Saturday, and I'm going to get moving. Hello, early virtual. Welcome to me trying to do. Oh, that's right. I was supposed to do something with this first. We're trying this as watercolor, so I'm going to just wet the paper down a little bit. Okay, let's just see what happens. I'm going to start with some fluorescent yellow, or reflex yellow. That's what it's called. I'm going to put a shit ton of water down on it and make it into making the acrylics behave like watercolors. And I think I want to put a horizon line in first before we begin. I don't know if I've done this design yet on a live stream. I painted this design a lot for Christmas cards. And so I am going to, yeah, I think this is the horizon line is roughly going to be at this point. So it's not even, but it's even enough. I started by wetting the paper down, and we will see what happens. I do have a design in my head. This is actually a Oregon coast kind of a thing. So I've never been on the East Coast, but on the Oregon coast, there are a lot of haystack rocks. And they start kind of a bit north of where my location is, and in a bit north of where my location is. And so they kind of like, and so the more famous ones, if you were to look up Cannon Beach has the more famous haystack rocks. And that's kind of roughly where the image that I'm using in my head of for this is a sunset seascape painting. Now, I have painted it several times before, and so this isn't my first time painting it, because I don't necessarily do that. I do tend to paint things. I should have taped this down. Oh well, we didn't. Yeah. This is great because it has a ceiling thing. I got this just for the show, and so you can put this down here, and then you close it up, and it latches, and then the paint doesn't dry out. Hey, Crazy Ender, welcome. So yeah, I tried something different last night, and I tried doing a screen casting, but no one could chat, and maybe the chat function doesn't work. But I guess I shouldn't do games. I shouldn't do games, and I was doing games, but I actually have in storage. I have a chess in a chess computer, and I think I might Yeah, that's really good. I oftentimes what I do is I use this. I use this one, and then I put a piece of saran wrap over it to seal it down. But this one here, I can hold on to it, and it works better for the show. So this is just really a more of a show thing. But when I'm painting for like doing my card paintings and things like that, uh, I will I'll use a different setup altogether. So like doing cards, I don't use that little box. I'll use something so I can have some space to mix the colors together. And then, so we're just gonna do in the sky line. There's actually, I need another color here. And I'm gonna be using this Alizarin Crimson. Mostly these paints here that I'm using are of the Amsterdam series, so it's the student grade. And then Golden is a professional grade paint. And so I'm just gonna put a little bit of this right over here. And I like this color, especially for doing some things, because when you mix it down with like a yellow ochre, it goes to wood colors way faster than let's say you just use a standard red and so forth. And so yeah, we are using this regular yellow, and just put a bunch of that in the skyline, and I'm gonna come up and do this. Here is a thin down yellow ochre. See, this stuff I put down in here like 3 weeks ago or a month ago, and it's still, all these paints I put in here about a month ago or less. I don't know. The time. You know how time runs together when you do YouTube, and YouTube time. Everything is running together, and I don't know. Is this December? Yeah, and then we got that. Anyways, all that stuff happening in January. That I'm just gonna put this down here on the edge. I'm gonna. Yeah, it'll work that way too. I mean, I have an easel, a wooden easel for outdoor stuff. I don't use it as often as I did several years ago, but if I was better at like painting landscapes, then I mean like live landscapes, I could if I was better at painting from photographs, well, let's put it that way, then taking the quote French box easel thing that is not really a French box easel, but nevertheless it's something like that. If I was better at painting, like going out into nature and then actually painting what I see, then that setup is actually really good for that. And so we're going to go take a little bit of this. I'm going to pull it into here, and I'm making a nice color, because this is actually a nice color, because if we go look at it into a skyline setup, it is something you just might see. Hi, Ange. Welcome into here. Yeah. Now that you know that you guys are all here, I'm actually really strongly considering changing my channel name here. And I've mentioned this multiple times, and I was thinking about this before the election, so this wasn't anything that was motivated by the election. It was just a matter of I was thinking about splitting the content because for algorithmic sense. And where was that piece of paper? Oh, it's over here. So this here was my original channel name, the 999 Show, and then last January I changed it to this, and I'm considering changing it back to this. And so this, if I make this change, it'll probably be in January or February. I'm still debating about it. But you know, I'll make that change before I hit like 1,000 subs. You want to you change it back? Yeah. Because you know, that's kind of what I'm doing as a show anyway. And I have another channel name in mind for doing tarot, and I'm not going to voice it until it happens, but what I'm going to do is I'll probably like upload 5 videos at first, and then try to just let those things go live all at the same time. Yeah. So it's like, you know, and you know, by YouTube, you're allowed to change your channel name twice a month. I mean, let me see how this color is working out. I don't want to put any green in the sky. I gotta test this color out before I do anything here. Yeah, so so right after I started this channel at the 999 Show, I immediately regretted the definite article in front of 999, and so I was like thinking, I just don't like the on there, and I just wanted to go to just 999 Show, but I changed it to what it was now, is just to have something more specific. I was just really trying to, you know, target for algorithmic sense. This color I made is way too green. I just wasn't paying attention, and I'm not gonna put green in the sky, so so that's I'm not ready to make that mistake already to put that color in the sky. And anyways. Oh, I'll tell you that story. That because it like the end of 2021, early 2022, I started seeing angel numbers everywhere, and so I was actually had completely forgotten about my spiritual life. You know, when I was working in a casino as a bartender, it was so. Yeah. So it kind of, when I was, you know, working in food and beverage and in a casino, and especially during when I was bartending, it was so demanding that. But actually, I roll it back a little bit before. I After my dad died in 2012, I religion became less important to me. It's still not all that important. I love icons. I've loved icons forever, and these are my new icons here. But there was, yeah, and so it kind of started that like that, and then when I worked at the casino and I worked in bartending and doing other things, I got into this place where I couldn't hear my spiritual voice anymore. And I lost my writer's voice. I lost a lot of different things. This still looks like it's going to be coming. I'm going to add some of this reflex rose into it and make a purpley color. So I felt like I lost touch with my spirituality and everything. And then so in 2021, 2022, I started seeing these angel numbers everywhere. And it would be like one, I would be I think it was in 2021. So it would seem like every time I was like adding numbers up, it would come up to something like 888 or a column of numbers, or it came up to like 111, 1111 or this or that. And then I started seeing those numbers in hello, Weston Outdoors, welcome. Yeah, so then I started seeing those numbers in my environment everywhere, and so that's where it started with wanting to give the channel an angel number, sort of a designation. That came from seeing actually, and then it's like my spiritual life became a little bit more important to me. And so that's kind of how that started. And so that's why 999. And then, but I was like thinking of something like 777, but then the association with 777 is of the 700 Club. It's far right. It's of like far right Christianity, and my Christian roots are in the Lutheran Church and in Catholicism, and so and within the realm of Christian mysticism. And so that's really kind of my story. And I'm going to just put this in here. You're welcome. That's my story. And my journey into this stuff occurred by going to the Holy Lands in like 1995. And that's kind of where that happened. And having these yeah, I do remember you, Weston Outdoors. I remember you very well. I have a really good memory for remembering things. I didn't always have a good memory for remembering names, but in my 30s, I trained myself, late 20s, 30s, I trained myself to remember people's names. And so I tend to remember people's names. Sometimes it has gotten me into trouble for remembering a person's name. Usually it would be like some pretty girl or something like that I would remember for a long, long time. People who are extremely attractive to, I tend to remember their names more so. I don't know, you can call me shallow if you want, or maybe it's just that's what it is. But yeah. So we're just kind of working on this. Yeah. I got really distracted here. It's one of the things I work on is. Yeah, they are pretty girls. It's not just, it's beautiful people in general's names are easy to remember. That's I could say that as a fact. It's not just but yeah. but I remember in high school and I was taking I was in this youth legislator thing, and I had and it was a camp, and it was at the state capitol, and there were kids from all over the state going. Bye. Oh yeah. Service than that, yeah, beautiful souls, yeah. And I had there was a dance at the end of the camp, and I had a date from, I think, I don't remember where she was from, but she was from a town that was probably a good 50 miles from where I live. And and I forgot my date's name. And I was like, oh, I was just like, you have a conversation with somebody, and I just absolutely forgot the girl's name. And yeah, I just remember that. Pretty girls are easier to remember. Their names are easier to remember until you forget what their names are. Yeah. Seinfeld episode. Yeah, I didn't watch Seinfeld very much, but I really love that show, Frasier. All right. Okay, let's see. Making sure that this is not going to. I'm gonna put some of this color in here. This is probably not gonna, because I've been so busy talking. I'm. This is probably not gonna turn out as good as the first few ones of these I've done. That purple in there. Yeah, these watercolor brushes work really good. I like them. Yeah, so then, if I change the channel back to 999 show, and then I gain my confidence enough to do interviews, I might bring, then, I don't know. It's just the thought. I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? And all right, so is this starting to look like it has some depth to it? I need to add more layers of color is what I need to do. Let's go take this one more specifically, and I want to thin it down some more. Yeah. Just thin it down some more. Get it some good thinness here. And we're going to put it in up on top here. Lay it in up here as well. Yeah. But yeah, that's right. Forgetting a person's name when you're on a date with them. Yeah. And then it didn't help matters much that I was like so painfully shy as well. Uh, that also has always been a big problem thing. Kind of this pinky color. Yeah, it makes it really hard. I should have plugged my hair dryer in because we are there's so much water on the page here. Yeah, it's cute until you're interested in somebody and they don't do anything because they prejudge everything or whatever. It's all cute until that time comes. let's go bring that color up here. Let's see, do I want to do anything over here? I need to take a look at this from up higher, see how things are going. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's go back in and do some more yellow. We'll do this color here in a spot that's over here. And what I'm trying to achieve is an effect that you're looking in here and you're looking into that sky and the sky goes on forever. And that effect is achieved only through adding layers and layers and layers of color. Multiple layers of color. That's the only way you can get that effect. Well, actually, there's probably other ways to do it, but this is the more easier way, I guess, if you want to call it that. And there are these things that I've been looking for, but I can't seem to find. All right, let's do, I need to do some, I need to clean my palette a little bit off. There we go. Okay, let's just add this white in here. Some thin layers of white. So does anybody know any jokes or anything? All right. So if you're still there, Ange, what is the weather like where in your part of the country over there in eastern Canada? Oh, you ate too much popcorn? Oh, I like popcorn. I made these kale chips last night, and I loaded them up with like red peppers and way too much like nutritional yeast, and they're like they were like overheating me. I wouldn't mind having popcorn. I have some. I think I've had too much carbohydrates to have popcorn. Too much sugar today. How's that starting to look? Maybe we want to bring in some darker colors up here. Again, maybe take some of this phthalo blue here, and we're just going to add some phthalo blue on top of the white here. Yeah. I really want something salty. I also want more sugar too. It's like one of those things, you know, when I'm like pre-diabetic or I'm actually in the diabetic range. I probably shouldn't talk about this online. But this that hasn't been the first time I've talked about it. And I'm going to put this color in here. 6 degrees. Yeah, we don't have snow here yet. It's It's a lot warmer here in Western Oregon, but it's kind of it's cold, but not that. Actually, it's a little warmer because there's a huge fog. There's a huge fog outside right now. It's a fog that's mixed in with the smell of wood burning stoves. Because in this little valley, almost everybody living in this little valley burns wood for heat. Um, it's funny the people who own a lot of timberlands, they don't have wood stoves, but they heat with like propane or natural gas and electricity and stuff like that. But yeah, seaside. Yeah, I haven't my grandmother, my dad's mom lived in Seaside for the last 10 or 15 years of her life. They were from Portland, but she was originally from Sweden and had made the trek to the States. Um, I don't know. She came. Her mom came. Mother and parents came first, and I think there was like right around the time of the Spanish flu. I think that's when that was happening, and they her folks came, and then they they worked a while, and then they brought two of their six children over, and so my grandmother came over to America with a younger sister when she was 8 years old. They came over on a, I was just thinking about that. How the difference between people today, kids today, and kids in the past, of how you know my grandmother Elsie making a transatlantic trip with a younger sister when she was like 8 years old. And then when I was like that age, my mother would put me on a Greyhound bus to go send me up to visit my grandmother Elsie, who was living in Seaside. I was by myself. She would pin a note on my pin a note on me, and to say, oh well, this is what stop he needs to get off on, and so forth. And you don't really see children in this day and age traveling alone or like that very much. So this bank of clouds is looking kind of nice. I'm going to fill in and make on this other side. I'm going to just turn the brush over and do this on this other way. But I think I might want to do these in sort of a different color scheme altogether. Maybe a bit more white. Yeah. Yeah, I think about Seaside a lot, and if I win a big lottery, then I'll move to Seaside. Yeah, I especially want to be there when the Cascadia earthquake, like triggers off and so forth. So you can get a front row seat to the big tsunamis that come in. Of course, I say that, but when when it comes down to the actuality, who really would want to do that? But front row seats, yeah. So painting upside down is a legitimate technique. Actually, I did it with a forest scene a few years ago, and I painted the foreground right side up, and then I painted a lot of one of the entire layers. I painted it upside down. So get this bank of clouds in here. There's different colors. Yeah. It was like in Jeff and Karen's live earlier. Somebody was talking about that whole retail therapy thing, and yeah, I got that problem of wanting to spend too much money. So I've been trying to think about what I want to do in 2025 as to not spend very much money, and so that was you, yeah. Retail therapy, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna do, what are we gonna do? I'm gonna put a little bit of a layer of blue up there. So yeah, my goal for 2025 is to not buy any new tarot decks, and I do want to make a tarot deck. I'm not gonna. It's not gonna be fancy or anything like that. It'd probably be using like, yeah, you love to shop, yeah, yeah. You know, grocery shopping. I've been like doing that. There we go. This, adding this little bit of a layer of that color. Maybe we'll come up here and we'll add in some of that Azilron Crimson in here. We'll make it kind of a little bit darker up here. Yeah. But yeah, I am kind of wanting to, I'm going to do that for this 999 show. I'm going to be making and Ramon wants me to make a Oracle deck. But that almost seems like it would be better if it was workshopped. If that was a workshopped project. Let's come back in here and want to do some straight up white. Now, I'm not using StreamYard or anything like that because I'm doing this show off of a mobile phone, and hence using the whole. Oh, so he has one that's like that. So I have a couple ideas. I have a one that I've done, and it is this is a crosswords oracle deck. It's I used my losing scratch tickets because I'm a gambler. I haven't actually played. I've was able to not do. Okay, so I make when I make these, they're all individual, and I can make them until I run out of losing lottery tickets, since I haven't really bought a lottery ticket in 2 years, and I'm not spending money on lottery anymore, or except just the Oregon Megabucks is the only lottery that I'm really paying for these days. Hermit's Cave, yeah. Yeah. I guess I should take a look at what does it look like. There we go. It's starting to turn to mud, which means I'm gonna just let that stay and dry up. And I think I'm gonna start working on the foreground now because I don't want to be on here for 2 hours. And I've been binge watching this show called House, and I kind of want to get back to watching some more episodes of it. Maybe I'll have some popcorn too. Simon needs more decks. Yeah, I really like those damn. I like the mini decks, and this one just came in the mail the other day. I like this. Yeah. Yes.
Fill this up when you have time.
Sorry, my mother came in to ask me. Sorry, made a question, and yeah. So this is one I also came in the mail the other day, and I haven't opened it up yet because I'm gonna do that. Is my audio back on? And then so if you just see the size wise, here's the Centennial one or the Smith Waite borderless, and then there's this one here, and then that one. So it's like really tiny. So I really like those mini ones, anyways. So that gave enough time so that maybe I can add some more white on here, and so it won't turn into mud. But it is that this area is just has too much paint on it and needs to. So I'm going to start working on the foreground because I really can't add any more paint into that area unless I were to plug my hairdryer in and dry this area down. But since one of my lights is plugged in to that outlet, so yeah. Okay, let's just do that. Now we're gonna just change some colors here. Well, so yeah, so early, Tom, you have to dry the surface first before you can let it dry first. And so being that I'm doing this as a live stream, I have to hurry it along and use that hair dryer. And so, okay, here we go. I'm going to add some more water to this and just thin it down a lot more. And since we're on the sunset, I don't have to have as many details there. And I can silhouette this stuff out. And that's what we're going to be doing. About there. So I'm going to put a big old haystack rock over here. I'm going to cover up a lot of this area here. Maybe it sits like this. And but you know, I'm going to add a hole in it, so like this, and I need more water. I'm going to thin that paint down, make it more transparent, make it more textured out. I like this effect of, sometimes you see something like this in nature, but you really don't. And so since we're not really doing nature, we're doing imagination, then I can make it part of my imagination. And having the paint a little bit thin, it does add a little bit of some effects in here. I'll just bring out one of the ones that I was working on a few days ago, actually last week, and I made a mistake on, and so this is one that I've done, and you can see the light effects in here, how nice that is. But I was doing that whole thing of putting a tree on the top of here, but it got too muddy, and then I was trying to fix it by putting a cloud over it, but this is like completely unfixable. And it's usually like right before you get done with something is when you make a mistake like that and you destroy the whole thing. So that's and so that's that. I'm just gonna just put this in here, and we'll put some more of these in. Maybe a little one over here, off in the distance, so it's a long ways out to sea. Trying to get that perspective. Maybe another one that's kind of bigger. And as you can see here, this paint's still pretty wet. And that made it kind of gray, but that's okay. Let's kind of put this in. I want to get the perspective that this one is a little closer than the other one. Kind of like that, and bring it down in here. Here we go. And maybe make another one kind of back in here. Haystack rocks. So Tom, what is your favorite favorite tarot deck? Do you have a favorite one? Mine is still the Radiant. I like the Radiant. The Mio Eames Tarot. I'll have to look that up. A South Korean artist. Okay. What kind of is it an abstract? Is it an abstract? The Terra Volatile. Oh, do you have it over on your channel? You must. Let's go add this in here. Give it some texturing here. It's almost like reminds me of like a rock or something in Star Wars. The second, the Last Jedi, was that one? It was not. It was the one with old Luke Skywalker, and it was on that island. There we go. The Meal Eames. Okay, I'm gonna write that down because I want to take a look at that. Oh. Let's see. Get this pen to work. T-E Terra VOLATILE Terra Volatile and Meoemes. IMS Meoemes. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. I think I'd like to see somebody do one using this style of art here, but not like make it like overtly Christian, but maybe more Christian mystic-y, kind of a Gnostic kind of a thing. Antlers and skulls and stuff. Okay, I'm gonna look that up when I get done here. Oh, we're gonna go move on and start doing the water, and maybe another. No, I think maybe another little rock in the background, way back there. Oh yeah, I was like trying to find stuff like that, but I was just it's you know something that's more more esoteric with that kind of because I've seen some that they're just like so overtly Christian, and that kind of was off-putting to have it like that. And okay, so let's go in and do. I think I'm going to change brushes out because I want to make sure that I don't put all that black in here when I go back in to do more yellow in the water. I'm gonna wipe some of this off. Okay. Yeah, I'm probably not going to. At this point in time, $100 for a tarot deck is out of my price range. Not so. That would be nice, though, is what I was thinking. Is like, 'cause I like bought a deck, and then it had like a strong chemical smell to it. The ink just had a strong smell, and I still haven't returned it yet, but I think I wanted to do a review on it, and it made me think that strong chemical smell was like, I mean, it gave me a headache, and I'm thinking, gosh, it's like, let's go make a lot of yellow in the water. Get that. Granted, you wouldn't see it that close up to those rocks, but that's okay. We're in imagination land right now. And in imagination land, we can do. Yeah, yeah. It was I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a long play video on it. It was called. It was on a keyword deck. It was I looked that up, the Byzantine Tarot. It was a keyword deck by Spell. I have a Spell deck that I really like, and but this one, and it made me kind of think that, gosh, it's because maybe they should just use the same printer that U.S. Games does. But then I was always thinking, God, maybe why can't they just use a printer in the United States, or on Continental, I'm not an America First person, but I am have been kind of more that way when it comes to like trade. I said I would never get into politics with this show. I'm not gonna say any more about that. Being too much of a nativist or something. But I just think that we should do the Tarot for Learning deck. Yes, that's the one. And I wrote on Amazon. I wrote a pretty bad review on it, on that. And then Spell, they reached out, and then even though I initiated the process to return the deck to get my money back, they're sending me another one of those decks out, and then I'm thinking, I didn't think I just want my money back, and so forth. That's kind of where I'm sitting at. But they're replacing it, and they feel awfully bad that it stinks. It has that bad chemical smell. But it kind of just made me think of wondering, is that something that, if it smells like that, does that chemical leach into your skin? Yeah. Yeah, an encyclopedia of tarot decks. Yeah, so that was just kind of what I was thinking. I was wondering, does those chemicals, the ink smells terrible, but I'm gonna put this red Zilliron Crimson into the water. And I don't know. I mean, I was like asking that question to the Google, of wondering if that if that if that ink, if you should actually even be touching that stuff. Yeah, I'm sure they are, because my very first tarot deck is had a smell like that. It kind of smelled like formaldehyde, and um, and it still kind of has that smell to it. It still smells that way. It was like just moments after this thing arrived, I realized that I think I would have. And it still smells like that, but at first it would be like I would be shuffling, and that smell would come up. Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, these U.S. Games decks, they smell great, and the ones that are like um, Low Scarbeo, I mean, they smell good too. I don't feel like they don't seem toxic to me, but yeah. Let's just put this color in here. All right, Ange. Thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciated you being here, and so maybe I'll have to have when I eventually, you know, want to do guests. I'll have you come on my show, and you as well, Tom. Anyone's welcome. I have a lot of questions that I want to ask about stuff. And anyways, let's put this color in here. So we're gonna put in a lot of light into this. Mm. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I like those. I like the boxes they have for those mini decks. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna. It's like this. If this goes to 999 show, it still doesn't matter. The content's gonna be pretty much the same. The other channel, I'm gonna open it up probably after President so and so gets seated. God, I still can't believe that people elected that guy. I mean, but like I said, I was politics was not something that I wanted to ever go into this channel. Period. And even though I do like politics, but Goonies, yeah, that was a great film. I like that movie, Goonies. Let's go and make this orange over here. I'm gonna put this in here. This water is really wet. Yeah, I'm just gonna put this in here like that. And now I think I'm gonna add some, I'm gonna leave those colors in here like that. I like this effect of having tons of light on the water. There's tons of light. So Tom, what part of the country are you from? Are you on the East Coast as well, or are you in a different part of, may I ask? Yeah. So I'm gonna just make sure that this doesn't turn green. That's the main thing is East Coast, right outside of New York City. Oh, yeah. I actually haven't been east, other than going to the Holy Lands. I have not been east of Idaho, uh, and I don't even think I've been as far east as Spokane. I don't think I'd ever even made it in Washington. I lived up in Seattle, but in Yakima was other than Idaho. Yeah, Idaho is as far east as I've been, and yeah, let's just put this in here. Yeah, I don't know that I really liked how this paper is behaving, but that's all right. This is a practice painting west of Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's kind of funny how that is. Is you kind of just stick to we stick to where we know, and I always wanted to go back to Israel though. I wanted to, if it was one of those things, if I had a ton of money, I would have liked to have stayed in Israel for the entire holy season. I'm gonna put this in here, some white. It's not really working very well, so without coming in here and but I'm living in a very rural area, so it's just like I don't have really access to a lot of things, and so if I wanted to do a lot of the things I used to do, I don't do. I just stay home, and that's just about it. So I'm gonna wrap this up, and I'm gonna do just one little other feature because I can't really do any more here because the paper's too wet. I know that I've had a delightful time tonight, and I spent a little bit too much time talking, and more time, a little too much time. But I'm going to put in on the horizon a container ship, and so we're looking at like it's maybe Santa Claus's container ship going across the horizon here. Maybe like that. Big old vessel. I know one of the conversations I would really like to have with people, is really just about YouTube itself and how to a whole sense of so just like a big huge stack of containers here, and having a conversation about YouTube itself. That's something that and content creation. We are absolutely here trying to get better at it, I suppose. And I'm going to put a big antenna on the back, and so this one's a little bit darker than what I would have liked it to be, but that's okay. Now I'm going to try and do another feature on one of these rocks here. Let's add some white into this, just a little bit of white into here. I want to make it a little bit more, add some more light into it, so it's a little bit grayer, less silhouetted. I might want to put a little yellow into it as well. You see that there is some light reflecting on the ship. Long ways away. Okay, I'm going to do one other thing, and I'm going to call it a night here, and I'm going to hope that this doesn't like F up here. The last one I did, it did, and so we're going to put a little tree up here, and look, it's working. So sometimes on these rocks, on these Goonies rocks, there are like trees, and I've seen this like up out in Lincoln City, which is shoreline. This one's a little bit iffy. It was a little iffy there, but I'm going to leave the iffy one there. And so this is the best I can do tonight on this without having I have to let everything dry to finish it. I might actually finish this tomorrow, but I don't think so. I don't know. But I have these canvas panels that, and I'm going to try tomorrow at my crafting Sundays show and try one of these panels and doing it as for watercolor. I've heard that you can do watercolor on canvases, but I've never really tried it before. But that's what I'm going to try tomorrow, 1 p.m. Pacific time. And that's all I got for tonight. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in, for Ange, for Tom, for Weston, what was his Weston, and for Ramon Moon Scarab. Weston, what was his name? I think it was her, but Weston Adventures. And Crazy Ender, yeah. Yeah, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me tonight. It's been a pleasure. And that's all I got for you. And we'll see you the next time, Weston Outdoors. Yes, that's right, Weston Outdoors. I hadn't seen Weston Outdoors come in since, really, like since September was the last time. And I'm going to move that paint. Anyway, I can do that off camera. Bye-bye. And thank you very much. And we'll see you the next time. Bye.